So welcome back to the channel. And the other day I was on Steam's website taking a look at their GPU listing. Now they have a listing on their website of the graphics cards that's most commonly being used. And the one that's at the top of the list is the 4060. Now, side note, this list is not based upon what is the best bang for the buck, the best graphics card that's out there. It's just based upon what people are actually using. And that's based upon what they can get their hands on and or afford. And I've run into this a lot when building computers for people. They come up to me and they say, hey, according to Steam's website, you know, the 4060 is the best graphics card to get. No. It's not the best graphics card to get. It's the one that people are more commonly using. So if you're gonna use that website, just take that with a grain of salt. Your graphics card decision should always be based upon what you can afford and what you need to use the graphics card for, the type of games, the type of workload and all that type of stuff. So do a little bit of homework on that before you jump on this website and say, hey, that's the one I need to get. So the 4060 has been around now for 2 years. And the price range of it, and I think the cheapest one I saw on eBay was like $166, but new it's about $400, give or take, just depending on the flavor that you decide to get. The number 2 graphics card on the list is the 3060. That one also goes for about $150 used and about $300, give or take. So like I said, it's based upon more what people can afford and based upon what's out there, availability. Fortunately, graphics cards are more available. Recently, I've gone to Best Buys. I've seen 5080s and other types of graphics cards that at one time you could walk into Best Buy and not get any type of graphics card or Newegg's waitlist or anything like that. So this is based on what people can get their hands on and afford. Now, the 4060 gears more towards, my opinion, 1080p. You can game on 1440p with it, but you are going to lose your frames per second on that. But for $400 and maybe average $200 used, is it a good bang for the buck? And that's what we're going to dive into in today's video. So now on the bench, I do have an RTX 4060. I actually picked this one up and it's the same one that I have in my mini ITX rig for $100. It's the Gigabyte RTX 4060. It's the low profile one, which I really like. It only has one 8-pin power connector and it actually runs pretty good. And I picked this thing up for $100. I got on the Facebook Marketplace, and yes, there are good deals, but you gotta act fast. And yes, buying on the Facebook Marketplace and or eBay is a gamble because you can get one and get hosed. But I reached out to the guy. The story behind it was that he bought it thinking that because it's a 40 series graphics card, he was gonna get some great 4K performance, and then he learned really quick. No, not so much. For $100, steal of a deal on that. The last one I have, which is in my ITX rig, I paid $200 for that when that first came out. So that was a really good deal. Folks, the deals are out there, just gotta hunt. So in today's video, we're gonna game on this 1440p, but we're gonna be using a cheap, cost-effective monitor, which is the sponsor of today's video by KTC. So let's go over the specs on this monitor real quick. So this is the KTC 27-inch 1440p 200 Hz HDR400 gaming monitor, and this is the H27T22C-3. The 1440p resolution offers crisp, detailed visuals combined with flicker-free tech and blue light filter and is ideal for gaming, work, and long viewing sessions. Equipped with AMD FreeSync and G-Sync support, this monitor ensures tear-free gameplay, 1 millisecond response time, enhances responsiveness for competitive gaming. With a fast IPS panel with vivid colors, enjoy lifelike images, immersive quality, whether gaming or editing videos. Now, it supports DisplayPort 1.4 for 210 Hz and HDMI 2.0 for 144 Hz. VESA mount compatibility, and another feature that I enjoy in the monitor has 2 built-in speakers in the back. And to customize your settings, simple as a push of a button in the back on the right side, which opens up the menu, allowing to customize your display, color, gaming setup, which allows you to enable and disable G-Sync/FreeSync, overclock your monitor for higher refresh rates. If you want to get a little edge in your gaming, your first-person shooters, it does have a game assist, which allows you a little crosshair for better accuracy. And for the price, can't beat it. Great bang for the buck, less than $200. They have it listed for $179.99 on their website. I'll post a link down below if you're interested. Thank you, KTC, for sending this monitor, and now back to our video. All right, so this is the 4060. It's the Gigabyte, it's the low profile version. And typically these low profile versions, you do pay a little more for them, primarily because they're a little more versatile. But the takeaway on these cards is that with low profile, less cooling, they do run a little warm and they are a little noisier, but they work really good if you want to put them in an old office PC, HP, Lenovo, Dell. Now this one does have the 8-pin, so if you have that power supply that doesn't have that support, you're kind of limited, but you can Have I done it? Yes, you can get a SATA to 8-pin adapter. It does work. Just kind of keep in mind of the power supply that you do have. Do I recommend it? Use your own judgment on it. So for the test bench, I have a Ryzen 7 5700, 16 gigs of DDR4, 3600, 1 terabyte M.2. So for our first game, Cyberpunk, and we're gonna play this at 1440p. I'm gonna turn, which I've already done, DLSS and FrameGen, all that type off. And let's kind of see of how this card runs at 1440p without all that enhancements, boost, if you even call it that. So let's try that. Let's get back, and folks should be proud of me. Using Xbox controller, make this a lot easier, and maybe I won't totally suck at this game. No, I'll still suck at it, but anyways. But thank you to my buddy. I gotta return it to him. So if you're watching this, don't worry, we're gonna get back to you. So let's continue the game. Now, honestly, this game, I really didn't enjoy it. I think I got like a couple of hours into it and it just wasn't for me. But if you like this game, let me know in the comments your thoughts. Maybe do I need to play it some more? But anyways, let's see what this card brings to the table. So 1440p, 60 frames per second, and so far it's looking good. I really like the way this KTC monitor looks on it. Somebody's hurting me. Oh, I forget the buttons. There we go. Come on. Did I get him? Yep, we got him. Now VSync is off, and it looks like we're kind of averaging close to 60 frames per second. Maybe if we get into a more intense scene, 50 frames per second, but still considering not too bad. All right, so let's get out of this. Let's go to our settings, and now let's go to DLSS. Let's go balance. Let's try balance on that. I think that should work. And let's turn on FrameGen, hit apply, confirm, and I forgot, gotta restart our game. Be right back. So right off the back, we have an improvement, what, 90 frames per second. Let's go into a more intense scene, and let's kind of see where we settle at. There we go. And I think there's more guys over here around the corner. Yep, sure. Load, come on, load. I really don't remember much on how to play this game, like how to run, aim, all that type of good stuff. But as you can see, I mean, a 4060, when you turn on all that DLSS stuff, I mean, we got a nice improvement. The game looks pretty good, playing a lot smoother, above 60 frames per second, which is ideal, so works pretty good. 1440p, DLSS, 4060, checking some boxes. So for one of my favorite games of all time, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, 1440p, NVIDIA RTX DLSS off, and all that type of good stuff. So I'm gonna just go ahead and run the benchmark on this. Let's get an average of what this is without the DLSS and all that type of good stuff. Then we'll add it. So right off the bat, 1440p, 100 frames per second. Not bad, game looks good, seems pretty smooth. So let's continue to run this and we'll see what our final result is. So we average 100 frames per second. Not bad. So 100 frames per second. Let's go ahead and turn on the NVIDIA RTX DLSS. So right now, just sitting here, 122 frames per second. Let's see what this does. Let's go balanced and let's run the benchmark. So right off the bat, higher frames per second. So let's continue this benchmark and let's see our final results. So 112 frames per second. Obviously, if we wanted to put on something like quality and performance, it's going to vary based upon that. But once again, not too bad. I will say this 4060 doing pretty good for 1440p. Granted, you turn on the DLSS. So for the next game I wanted to do is The Last of Us, but I always have issues with this and I can never figure out consistently what is wrong with it. I'm running it at 1080p, low settings, and the frames just keep tanking. 8 frames per second, 12. I restarted it, drivers, reinstalled the game, and it's weird because some days it will do this, some days it won't do this. It doesn't matter what graphics card I use. Maybe it's something with my motherboard. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll post on the screen if I'm able to figure out what's wrong with it and what the frames per second is, but I imagine it might be decent. So let's go ahead, let's wrap this up and give you my final thoughts. So is the RTX 4060 a good graphics card? Yes. Is it worth it? Depends on the price. I mean, $400, I think I saw one for $429 is a little bit steep on that. And for me, a kind of budget level graphics card should not be that much. That's just my opinion on it. But used, and they are going pretty cheap used. I've seen them go for average about $200 to $250, just depending where you're searching. eBay, getting on there quick on the Facebook Marketplace, like I did with this one for $100. It's got some really good bang for the buck if you're able to get it between the $200 to $300 price range on it. Now the 3060, which is actually, from what I read, 15 to 20% slower compared to the 4060. That one is about $300. So if you think about it, if you're able to scoop this one up for about $200 to $300, you're getting some decent bang for the buck compared to going with the 3060, which is number 2 on the list. Like I said, the Steam list is based upon what people can get their hands on and what they can afford, not on the best bang for the buck or anything like that. You gotta do your own research on that. But considering this 4060, we're able to do 1440p with DLSS on, and yes, I know people have their reservations about that, and we're able to get over 60 frames per second in a good chunk of these games, not bad. Now, as far as me moving forward in budget builds, I'm gonna keep my eye out on this graphics card on the used marketplace, eBay, and if I'm able to scoop them up for about $200, I'll actually pop them in some decent mid-range gaming PCs, and I really think I can make a couple of good flips on it and get some really good bang for the bucks and make some decent money on it. 1440p, not bad. Over 60 frames per second, even better. And diving back into this monitor, this KTC monitor, for the price and what you're getting, it's pretty decent. This monitor looks awesome, performs very well, and I'm very happy with it. So like I said, if you want to check it out, I'll post a link down below and maybe you can pick yourself up one. So with all that being said, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms. What are your opinions on DLSS? Is the 4060 a good bang for the buck? And what's another graphics card that you might recommend? If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.